See, here's what I need you to understand right off the bat. When a man hurts you, the first thing he expects is for you to fold, to cry, to call, to text, to explain yourself, to ask him, "What did I do wrong? Let me stop you right there." That man knows what he did. Ain't no confusion on his part. He played a game, and now he's waiting to see if you'll show up to the after party wearing guilt and desperation like a dress. Now listen, when someone hurts you, the natural instinct is to try to fix it. Especially if you're the kind of woman who gives your all. You want to talk it out, make it right, give him one more chance. You start thinking, maybe I said too much, or maybe I didn't do enough. No, that's not your job. See, the moment a man chooses to hurt you, he's already written a scene in his mind where you are the one chasing him for closure. But here's how you confuse him. Don't show up to play that part. Instead, flip the whole script. You're not an extra in some man's movie. You're not here to audition for love like it's a role you got to earn. You are the headline, you are the show. And if he didn't recognize that, he wasn't meant to be on your stage. The real confusion for a man comes when he hurts you, and instead of tears you hand him nothing. Not a reaction, not a text, not a second of your energy. Silence, that's the loudest language you can speak when someone expected noise. Because see, a man can only keep playing games if you keep giving him the court. You want to confuse him, walk away like you just remembered who you are. Handle it like a woman who understands her value doesn't drop because one man mishandled her. That's what keeps him up at night. Not your pain, but your peace. Not your breakdown, but your bounce back. And I know, it's not easy. You're sitting there asking yourself, how do I not care? How do I not call? How do I act like it doesn't hurt when it does? Let me tell you something. Acting like it doesn't hurt isn't the goal. You can feel it. You should feel it. But feeling pain doesn't mean you gotta put it on display for the same person who caused it. Feel it in private. Cry in the shower. Scream into the pillow. But when you step out that door, baby, keep your crown straight. That's how you flip the script. Now let me tell you what happens next. He starts wondering, because see, he expected a reaction. He expected that ego boost. She gon' be blowing up my phone by tomorrow. She'll come back. But instead, you go quiet. You start working out. You get busy on your goals. You laugh a little louder, stand a little taller, and you don't say nothing to him. That man will start checking your page more than you check his. He'll be confused because he thought he had a hold on your emotions. But now, you've taken back the power. Here's the real truth, confusing a man who hurt you isn't about revenge. It's not about playing games back. It's about disrupting the expectation that he still controls your emotions after the damage is done. Once you take that back, you're free. Not because he apologized. Not because he came running back, but because you decided that peace was more valuable than proving a point. I know some of y'all are thinking, but what if I don't feel strong enough to do that? Let me tell you, strength is not about never feeling weak. It's about what you choose to do with the weakness. You can love someone deeply and still walk away. You can miss someone at night and still not answer their calls. You can hurt and heal at the same time. That's strength, that's grace under fire. So when he hurts you, don't ask why me. Ask what now? And the what now is this. You rise, you level up. You glow so hard he got a squint to even look at you. You become the kind of woman who doesn't need to say a word for her absence to be felt like a slap. That's how you flip the script. That's how you confuse a man who thought you needed his love more than your own peace. Let him wonder. Now let's talk about that upgrade. I'm talking about the kind of glow-up that makes a man sit back like, wait a minute, what happened? That's what we do when we've been hurt. We upgrade, we don't unravel. See, a lot of times when a man breaks your heart, he expects you to fall apart. He thinks you gone sit there with your hair in a bun, in your pajamas for 2 weeks, scrolling his page, watching him live like nothing happened. That's the movie he's got playing in his head, but you don't play that part. You flip the whole channel, because let me tell you something, when a man hurts you, the best revenge is not anger, it's elevation. It's self-investment. It's putting all that energy you used to give him into you. Every tear you cried, that's fuel. Every sleepless night, that's your fire. Every why would he do this to me turns into watch what I do now. That's how you confuse him, by becoming better, not bitter. Now don't get it twisted. Upgrading ain't just about your looks. That's part of it, sure. Go get your hair done, hit the gym, put that dress on that makes you walk like your hips know something he don't. Not because you're trying to win him back, but because you're stepping back into your own power. You're reminding yourself of who you were before he came in and made you doubt it. But the real upgrade, that's internal. That's in the way you move. The way you no longer answer that 2 a.m. you up text. The way you stop stalking his social media and start building your business, your mindset, your spirit. The way you go from waiting on his message to blocking his number not in spite, but because you finally realize you deserve more than the bare minimum. You ever notice how confused a man gets when you stop reacting? When you don't post those sad quotes, when you don't sub him online, when you don't send him that "I just wanted closure" message, that man will double take on your glow up like he saw a ghost, because he was expecting you to fold. He didn't expect you to rise. Let me break something down for you. People expect pain to paralyze you. They don't expect it to propel you. So when you take heartbreak and turn it into purple, oh baby, that's confusing. That's disruptive. That's powerful. That man thought he was the earthquake, and now you've become the whole storm system, unshakable, unreachable, unbothered. But I know some of y'all are sitting there thinking, what if I don't feel strong enough to upgrade right now? That's okay. Strength doesn't always show up loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's getting out of bed when your heart still hurts. Sometimes it's turning off your phone so you don't text him. Sometimes it's choosing you when you still miss him. That's the work. That's the foundation of the upgrade, and let me be real with you. Your upgrade won't always be visible to everybody. It's not just about looking good on Instagram. It's about healing. It's about setting boundaries. It's about learning to love yourself so well that no man's opinion can shake it again. That's the kind of growth that doesn't need to be shouted. It speaks for itself, because one day he's gonna look at you and realize he can't reach you anymore. Not because you're being petty, not because you're playing games, but because you evolved. You stepped into a new level that he never had the discipline to rise to, and that, right there, is the ultimate confusion. When he hurt you, he thought you'd break, but instead you turned that pain into progress. You turned that wound into wisdom, and if you really want to confuse him, be so good with yourself that his name doesn't even come up in your conversations anymore. He's waiting to hear that you still miss him. He's waiting to find out that you're still healing, but you out here thriving quietly, consistently, unapologetically. That's the upgrade. Let your life be the answer to the question he never had the courage to ask. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. When a man hurts you, the reaction he's waiting on is the clap back. He's ready for the fireworks. He's ready for the paragraph, long text messages, the phone calls, the late-night emotional outbursts. He's sitting back expecting you to explode so he can play the victim and say, "See, this is why I left." He wants the show. He's hoping for the drama, but you don't give him that. You confuse him when you do the one thing he never prepared for. You level up instead. See, it's easy to react when you're angry. It feels natural. You want to tell him off. You want him to feel a fraction of the pain he gave you. You want him to he messed up. But here's the thing. Your power isn't in the reaction. It's in the restraint. It's in knowing you could burn it all down, but you won't because you're too busy building your own peace. And make no mistake, that peace, that asterisk, calm asterisk, that's what drives him crazy. Because when you stop clapping back, you stop feeding the cycle. You stop giving him a reason to believe he still owns space in your mind. You confuse him when your vibe changes, when your tone shifts. When he sends that petty message or tests your patience, and instead of responding, you just asterisk, don't asterisk, that silence, it's deafening to a man who expected noise. Now don't get it twisted. It doesn't mean you don't feel anything. It doesn't mean you don't hurt, but maturity looks like choosing dignity over drama. It looks like saying, I'll let God, the universe, karma, whatever you believe in, handle it. I'm not sacrificing my peace to fight battles I already won by walking away. Because that's really what this is about, elevation. And you can't elevate if you keep stopping to argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You can't fly when you keep flapping your wings in fights that don't deserve your energy. You want to confuse him, glide right past him with a smile that says, you no longer have access to my attention. A man doesn't expect that. He expects you to be stuck. He expects you to scream. He expects you to act out of pain, but when you act out of purpose, that's a whole different kind of flex. That's when the tables turn, because let's be real, most men don't know how to handle a woman who responds with peace. It throws them off. It makes them question everything. Why isn't she mad? Why isn't she calling? Why is she so quiet? You want to know why, because you're not in the business of begging anymore. You're in the business of becoming. You're becoming the kind of woman who knows how to protect her energy, the kind of woman who doesn't just talk about boundaries, she enforces them, the kind of woman who knows that silence is sometimes the strongest statement you can make. That's where the real power is. See, anybody can throw shade, anybody can go off, but it takes a different kind of strength to rise to rise above the nonsense, to rise above the disrespect, to rise without having to announce your exit. You just go quietly, confidently, completely, and that man, oh, he'll feel it. Because when you stop clapping back, you stop engaging with the version of yourself that needed his validation. That version is gone, dead and buried. What stands in her place is a woman who doesn't have time to react, because she's too focused on healing, evolving, and moving forward. Look, sometimes the best revenge is not looking back. Not giving him one more second of your spotlight, because that spotlight, it belongs to you now. You confuse him when you take all that pain and turn it into power. When you become the version of yourself he never believed you could be, because he never knew who you were in the first place. So, the next time you feel that urge to send that message, to speak your mind, to go off, pause, take a deep breath, and remember this. You don't need to clap back when you've already levered up. Let him talk. Let him guess. Let him sit in the silence and wonder what version of you he would have seen if he hadn't fumbled the blessing. You don't respond. You evolve. Let me tell you something that most people overlook. Healing is your job. Nobody else is responsible for it. Not your ex, not your friends, not even the man who hurt you. See, when someone breaks your heart, your first instinct might be to look to them for the fix. You want an apology. You want closure. You want them to come back and make it right. But the truth is, if someone had the power to hurt you, they probably don't have the wisdom to heal you. That's your responsibility. That's your power. And this is where it gets real. Loaning your healing means you stop waiting on someone to acknowledge the damage they did. You stop needing them to feel bad about what they caused before you decide to feel better. Nah, you take your healing back like you take your car back from a bad mechanic, because you realize they didn't fix it right the first time, and you're not about to let them wreck it twice. See, that's the kind of mindset shift that confuses a man. He thought you'd be checking in, still emotionally hooked, still hoping for that call that never comes. but instead you're in therapy, you're praying, you're journaling, you're stretching, you're pouring that energy back into your soul instead of into his phone. That's the difference, that's the elevation, because when you really start to own your healing, your entire posture changes. You go from asking, why did he do that to me, to saying, what am I going to do for me now? That's where the shift happens. That's where the woman who was hurt becomes the woman who heals, and then grows beyond what hurt her. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Don't let anybody lie to you and say healing is all spa days and soft music. Sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes it's waking up at 3 a.m. with your chest tight, wondering how you got here. Sometimes it's fighting the urge to text him just to feel something. But every time you choose not to, every time you sit in the discomfort and deal with it instead of distracting yourself, you're building muscle, emotional muscle, grown woman muscle, and that's where your strength lies. It's in the choice. Healing ain't a one-time event, it's a daily decision, a moment-by-moment process where you say, even though I feel broken right now, I won't let this break me forever. It's knowing you don't need closure from him when you can create peace within yourself. Because listen, sometimes the apology you're waiting on is never coming. Sometimes the clarity you want isn't in his words, it's in your reflection. And when you look in that mirror and decide to keep going, to keep loving yourself, to keep building your life, that's healing. That's power, and it don't come from him. It comes from you. And let me tell you something else. When you heal with grace, when you grow with intention, you automatically confuse the man who hurt you. Because he's watching. Don't think he ain't. He may not say nothing, but he's watching. He's checking your page. He's asking mutual friends. And what's worse for him than seeing you cry is seeing you calm. That peace, that calm glow that comes when you stop giving your pain to people who can't carry it. That's unsettling to somebody who expected chaos. He wanted to see a mess. He wanted to see you stuck. But you're out here walking in healing like it's your birthright, and it is because nobody can take from you what you rebuild from the inside. You're reclaiming yourself, your joy, your purpose, your confidence. You're not just bouncing back, you're rising forward, and the real flex is when your peace is so full, so unshakable, that you look back and realize the man who broke you was really just the beginning of your breakthrough. He was the lesson, not the destination, and now you're not just healed, you're whole. So don't look for healing in the hands that hurt you. Don't hand your heart back to the same person who couldn't protect it. You're the healer now. You're the architect of your recovery. Own it, live it, breathe it. Let your healing speak so loud, he don't even recognize the woman he left behind. Now let me tell you what really shakes a man up. When you stop trying to prove your worth to someone who already failed to recognize it, that right there, that's the move that throws him all the way off. Because for too long, too many women stay stuck in that loop, trying to be enough for someone who never deserved them in the first place. You start bending, shrinking, compromising, trying to get him to see your value. But the whole time, you were already enough. He just didn't have the capacity to appreciate what he was holding. See, when a man hurts you, he's not expecting you to stand tall. He's expecting you to question yourself, to start wondering if you were the problem. Maybe I wasn't fun enough. Maybe I was too emotional. Maybe I expected too much. No, baby, don't let someone else's inability to love you properly become a reason for you to doubt your own value. That's not your reflection, it's his limitation. You confuse a man when you stop auditioning, when you stop shrinking yourself to fit into a role that was never written for you, when you start walking like, whether you choose me or not, I'm still the prize. Because the moment you stop trying to prove your worth, the power dynamic flips. He thought he had the upper hand, but now he sees you don't need his approval to feel whole. I've seen it time and time again. A woman gets her heart broken and starts working overtime to prove to that man what he lost, posting to show him what he's missing, saying all the right things, being extra sweet, showing she's still that girl. But let me ask you something. Why are you trying to show off for a man who already dropped the ball? Why are you investing energy in someone who couldn't even hold space for you when you were giving him everything? You see, the real flex isn't proving anything. It's knowing you don't have to. The moment you realize that your worth isn't tied to how someone treats you, you become untouchable. A man can't manipulate a woman who knows her value. He can't run game on someone who's already clear on who she is and what she brings to the table. You gotta stop giving discount access to full price value. That man didn't just hurt you. He showed you where you were settling. And once you see that clearly, you don't go back to begging. You don't go back to convincing. You just rise asterisk. And you confuse him because he thought you needed him to feel validated, to feel beautiful, to feel wanted. But now you're walking with a confidence that says, I was all that before you, and I'll still be all that after you. Let's keep it real. Some men will never admit they messed up, but deep down they no asterisk. They feel it, they see you glow differently, they see you start doing better, and most of all, they see that you stop chasing, and that silence, that detachment, that's what hits the hardest. Not the yelling, not the tears, but that cool, unbothered energy that says, I'm not explaining myself anymore. Because when you stop trying to prove your worth, you start preserving it. You start protecting your peace, your time, your heart. You stop letting people rent space in your soul for free. And that, my friend, is how you take your power back. You don't do it by trying to make him see. You do it by seeing yourself so clearly that even his blindness can't make you doubt your light. It's a shift, a transformation, and it happens the moment you stop asking, why didn't he choose me? And start saying, why was I even waiting to be chosen? You are the table, you're not a backup plan. You're not the consolation prize, you are the main event, and if he couldn't see that, that's not your fault, that's his loss. You don't prove your worth to someone who is too distracted to notice your shine in the first place. You just keep shining, you keep growing, you keep becoming the woman who no longer begs for recognition, because she already knows who she is. Let your silence speak your value, and your growth prove your strength. Now, here's the part that really flips the script. The moment you stop chasing closure and start creating your own, that's when everything changes. See, a lot of folks think healing means waiting on some grand apology, some emotional conversation where the person who hurt you finally explains everything, breaks down in tears, and begs for your forgiveness. But let me tell you something. That scene rarely happens, and even when it does, it doesn't hit the way you think it will. Because what you're really craving isn't just an apology, it's understanding. It's peace, it's answers, and sometimes the only place you're going to find those things is within yourself. You confuse a man when you don't wait around for him to clean up the mess he made, when you stop needing him to validate your pain. When you stop expecting him to give you the healing he never had the courage to give himself. That's a whole different level of power, because he thought you'd be stuck, waiting on a phone call, a message, some type of closure that would make everything make sense. But instead, you turned the page without his permission. That's confusing to someone who thought they still had control over your emotions. I know it's hard. I know the silence feels like punishment. You keep checking the phone. You keep hoping maybe today's the day he realizes what he did and makes it right. But here's the truth. Some people don't come back. Not because you weren't worth it, but because they can't face what they did. And you can't keep pressing pause on your healing waiting for someone else to grow up. You want to know what real closure is. Real closure is waking up one morning and deciding that you've had enough of the tears, enough of the waiting, enough of the wondering. It's when you stop replaying the conversations and start rewriting your future. It's when you realize that the chapter was painful, but the story isn't over. Real closure isn't something they give you. It's something you claim And once you claim it, that's when your spirit starts breathing again. That's when your energy shifts. You go from why did this happen to me to what did this teach me about me. You go from searching for closure in his absence to finding clarity in your presence. That's how healing really begins. And here's what's beautiful. When you create your own closure, you stop living in the past. You stop needing answers from a person who may never be ready to give them. You close that door not because it was locked from the outside, but because you finally realized you could walk away anytime you chose to. That's freedom, that's maturity, that's peace. You know how confused a man gets when you stop needing him to finish the story. When you stop asking him to show up for a conversation you already finished in your own mind. When he circles back thinking he still has a hold on you, and you've already released him without bitterness, without anger, without that emotional baggage. That's when he starts questioning what happened. How did she move on without me? It messes with his head, but you didn't move on because you forgot. You moved on because you remembered who you are, what you deserve, and what you won't settle for ever again. You made peace with the silence. You created your own explanation. You stopped chasing and started choosing, and in doing that, you became untouchable. Look, everybody wants a fair ending, but life doesn't always give us neat little bows and satisfying conclusions. Sometimes you got to walk away with loose ends and still decide to be whole. Sometimes your healing looks like closing the book without ever getting the last chapter, but that's okay, because your next book, your next season, that's where you start writing for you, not for him, not for the pain, not for the apology that never came. So let him wonder, let him ask around, let him sit in the silence he created. You already created your closure. You already gave yourself permission to move on. You didn't need his words to validate your worth. You needed your own voice to remind you of your strength. Let your peace be the ending to the story he never thought you'd finish on your own.